Ian for the Metal Gods Meltdown, and today I am joined by.
Roger Nilsson from the Swedish band The Quill.
It's awesome to be chatting to you tonight. I've been blown away by your new album, absolutely blown away. Wheel of Illusion. I did have to double check at first when I started listening. I was thinking, is this Black Sabbath?
Yeah, we always had a Black Sabbath influence to our sound, but this, for some reason, this album turned out to have a lot of Sabbath influences, and I think Magnus double take. He did double takes of all the vocals, and that was typical of Ozzy during the old Sabbath years as well, and that brings a sort of a extra Sabbath sound to it, I guess.
Yeah, the first track sort of like reminded me a lot of Children of the Grave. Has that been said to you before? Yes.
Yeah. But there's only so many chords in the scale you can use. So, but it's, in a way, it is a tribute. I mean, it's one of our favorite bands. We come from that area with Black Sabbath and Led Zeppelin and Deep Purple, and this time we turned a little bit more towards the Black Sabbath side of things, and we have albums that are a little bit more to the Led Zeppelin side. And the first album, it's definitely more in the Deep Purple way. And we had a Hammond organ, a guy playing Hammond organ on that one. So you get a little bit of everything when you listen to the Quill.
Absolutely, man. I love all of the songs, especially the final one, Wild Mustang. Which would you say, though, is your favorite track on the album today, and why?
I think I like quite a lot of them, actually, because this album was a lot more. It was a lot more well rehearsed in a way. We had everything finished, and we were sort of did all the arrangement in the rehearsal room before we entered the studio, and that was with the previous album, Earthrise. We went in the studio with sort of sketches and worked quite extensively in the studio. But this time everything was well rehearsed, pre-planned, so I think it came out rather good the way we expected it to sound. But with that being said, I think songs really is no really usually. I mean, that's the good thing nowadays when you albums that are sort of we work with the vinyl format, and we try to keep the albums sort of it should fit a vinyl album. And I think a couple of, I mean, in the CD era, you crammed in so many songs on because you had so much time, and I think you always had a couple of stinkers on each album. But when you're working with the format of 8 to 10 songs, you can sort of, you don't have that sort of, you don't have to fill out that much space. But that was a long your question. I haven't answered it yet, but I think the first one, it's sort of Wheel of Illusion, is sort of sums it all up, I think, in a good way. And I think the singles are really cool as well. We Burn, Elephant Head was cool. We played it the first time live this Friday and went down a storm, so should be fun continuing to play that one live, I think.
Yeah, because your release party was like the other day, wasn't it? So how was that? How were the new songs taken down? They were really appreciated.
Yeah, it was really cool. It's in my hometown. We sort of live a little bit spread out. Joel, our drummer, lives in Stockholm, and we live in the south of Sweden. So we did the release party in my hometown, and it's just sort of a half an hour drive from where Magnus and Christian live. So we had almost, I think it was 450 or 500 people crammed in, and a great night of rock and roll, and just playing the new songs. It's really cool to see how they work in a live setting. You can always sort of, when you're in the studio, you think, this would probably work, but you never know until you sort of play it for an audience. So I was a great night. I'm still riding a little bit high from it.
Brilliant. So can you tell us the ideas then behind the awesome Elephant Head? What's that all about?
I don't know. I mean, musically, came in with that our drummer. He came in. It was the last song written for the album. He came in just sort of maybe a week before we were supposed to start recording, and I had this really cool idea. It would be cool to sort of see if we can get it finished before the recording starts. So he came in with it, and I think musically, basically his idea all the way through, and then Magnus did vocals, the vocal melody and the lyrics for it. I think it's loosely based on a Buddhist Ganesha, the elephant, the boy with the elephant head. But I think the lyrics are, you can interpret it different ways, and he sort of likes working with visuals in a way, sort of to paint a picture with words. But we are in no way Buddhist.
All right, and so the album has it all, even down to the amazing artwork. I mean, it's amazing. Can you give us a little bit of insight into the ideas and theme of the cover? I'm guessing it's like, personally, like the past and the future and people with mobile phones, and is that right?
Yeah, and what we do, I mean, this is the third album we've done with, it's a German artist called Sebastian Jerke, who's he did the artwork for Born from Fire and Earthrise as well. And what we usually do is we send him all the lyrics and some music as well, and then he sort of give us sketches. I think each time we get maybe 5 or 6 different sketches of sort of his the visual ideas he get from listening to the songs and the lyrics, and then we sort of go back and forth between each other till we find something we all sort of are pleased with, and then he paints it by hand. So it's no digital art or anything. It's a real piece of art.
It really is, man. It's absolutely amazing. Do you plan to have that framed at home, like the one behind you?
No. That's a couple of old posters, but I think he's still. I haven't seen it actually. The paintings he has done here, because he has them himself, and he sort of just makes scans of them and sends to the record label. But it would be really cool to see how they look in sort of real life.
Absolutely. So, what about your plans then for tours and festivals for the year? Have you got anything planned? Sweden RAWKS or anything like that?
Yeah, not Sweden Rock. They didn't want to book. They didn't want to book us this time. We played there in what was it, 2019 or something. So they thought it would be better to wait a year or so, and they sort of tried to get you to play. They don't want us to play too often, and we played there I think 4 or 5 times. But we're going to do a short run in May. We're going to play a festival in France and a couple of shows in Belgium and Netherlands. And we just changed booking agency, so they're sort of trying to work everything out and sort of getting new connections. So hopefully we'll do a little bit more extensive touring a little bit later on. I think trying to do some festivals this summer, and then probably touring more in the autumn, I guess.
Brilliant. Are there plans to get to the UK, do you think?
Hopefully. I think we were there last time with Nebula in 2000 and what was it, 18 or something. We played London at least. Hopefully, I mean it's a little bit more difficult getting into the UK now with sort of the Brexit thing as well. But hopefully we will work something out. We usually try to play at least a couple of shows in the UK. So hopefully, as I said, we're working with a new agency and just trying to sort of put everything together in a way that it makes sense, both from a sort of a routing perspective and also financially. And it's difficult now after COVID. A lot of bands, a lot of clubs have been shutting down, and it's really difficult to sort of get the economy to sort of make sense, I guess, in a way. But I mean, we're in a way lucky that we do this. I mean, we all have day jobs, and I guess it's a lot harder for bands who are really dependent and have no other jobs to work. And I mean, we do it sort of we take vacation from our day jobs and go on tour. So in that way, it's a little bit easier for us, I guess.
Brilliant. So how do you guys, when you are on the road, stay energized and healthy? I mean, is it difficult?
Nah, not these days. It was a little bit more difficult when you were younger. Then you were partying all the time. But now we sort of we like a drink as much as anybody else, but you also have to take care of yourself on tour, because it's really easy to sort of get sick, and especially for Magnus, our singer, it's really important to sort of stay hydrated and sleep, and and he has sort of I mean, his way of singing is quite demanding as well. So there's not too many late night parties, but every once in a while you have to blow off some steam.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
Yeah.
So what would you say has been the weirdest venue then you've ever played?
A weirdest venue, we played a lot of. We played once. They had sort of this decibel level. If you sort of went up over the decibel level, you were supposed to get fined a lot of money. So we had to play sort of as quiet as possible because we didn't want any sort of getting any fees, penalty fees for that. So that was a really weird gig. You're sort of trying to play heavy metal but quiet, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
And it was not just us. We were on tour with Monster Magnet from the United States and Glucy from Norway as well, and everyone has sort of had to play. You can almost hear the audience talking to each other. Really strange.
That's insane.
Yeah.
I've sort of like known about your band for many years. My wife only ever reviewed one album, and it was Full Circle, and she loved that album. Sadly, she's no longer with us. She died from cancer in 2017, and
Okay.
it's sort of like,
I'm sorry to hear.
I'm catching up like with you guys after not really listening to you guys for a long time. This album, to be fair, and I love this album. I think it's fantastic. I think it's probably the most complete album that possibly you guys have ever done. Would you say that? So, I mean, would you say this is like the pinnacle of the Quill?
Yeah, I think so. From when we reunited with Magnus Ekvall, this is the third album, and it's sort of almost like a trilogy of albums. And I don't know. I mean, we were a lot more in the early days. We were a lot more sort of, we can't have this type of chorus. It's too catchy, or you were sort of really aware of what people would think of it. But nowadays, as you get older, you really don't care. You make the music. I mean, you do it for yourself first and foremost. And then, I mean, it's a bonus if the audience and our fans love it. But you have to do music for yourself. And in the early days, we were a little bit more sort of, this is what would people think about this? But at the end of the day, you have to make music you like yourself. And that's why you do it in the end.
I mean, I've been doing this a long time, like music and interviews and stuff. And I was only like recently checking your back catalogue today, to be honest. And I saw you did a version of Where Eagles Dare. That's unbelievable. I love that version. It's really good.
Yeah.
It's probably everyone probably fucking knows about it, but me. Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing. But I want to know then, is there a song written by someone else that you wish you had written? Heavy metal songs.
There's tons of great songs. I mean, I don't know. On top of my head, I mean, I've always been a big fan of The Who. I love it, sort of Bob O'Reilly and Won't Get Fooled Again. Those are a couple of songs. Whenever I hear them, like, shit, this is really good songwriting.
Yeah.
But then again, there's some fantastic. Jimmy Page has written a lot of great songs. I mean, Kashmir, I wouldn't mind writing that one, or maybe it's some of the ABBA songs, just so I can get royalties from Dancing Queen or something.
Yeah. Going to yourself then, I understand you've worked with Arch Enemy in the past. How amazing was that? And I'm very jealous. Very jealous.
Yeah, that was really cool. I mean, that was sort of when I did their first American tour ever. Actually, we opened up for Nevermore. So it was still with Johan, the first vocalist they had for the first 3 albums, and it all came together rather. It was sort of a strange affair because at first Mike called me, and Mike Amont, the guitarist, and asked me to join Spiritual Beggars, which I later did around the time that they had recorded Ad Astra, and they had sort of fallen out with Spice, the vocalist, but. Then the record label said, "Oh no, you can't. We can't release an album with a different lineup." So it sort of just faded away. But then, sort of a week later, he called me again and said, "How do you feel about joining Arch Enemy instead? Because I'm looking for a bass player." And Mike, I don't know if that's sort of that's not really my cup of tea. I haven't played this type of music at all. But I said, I know you as a bass player. You, no problem. You will fix that. And I said, okay, just send me a couple of records I can listen to. It was sort of pre the Spotify days.
Yeah.
And so, sure, I'll send you the CDs and we can talk in a couple of days. But then he called me like an hour later. No, I'm sorry. I really have to know now because we sort of had to acquire for visas for the United States. So the management has to have an answer tonight. So I thought, well, what an offer, go to the United States and tour. And I hadn't been there playing at all. So I said, oh, yeah, sure, no problem. I'll do it. And then 2 days later, I got the CDs and like, shit, this is really difficult stuff. So I rehearsed as crazy. And we did one first show in the UK. We opened for Cradle of Filth at the Astoria in London.
Right.
So that was a really sort of I was this way doing a first show packed Astoria. I was like, no pressure at all. It was a lot of fun. Yeah, and we're still friends. I mean, he lives in Singapore now, so he's. But I got to see them when I see them here in Sweden. They played here in May, so it's always nice to meet up whenever we're sort of in the same town or so. So it's really cool, and it's incredible to see what they managed to achieve over the years. It's a great band and great guys.
Absolutely. I know. I'm just like, I've always been transfixed with him. Like, if I've been in the photo pit, and he's just like, it's amazing. Yeah, absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
All right. So going back to the album, are you planning to release any more singles?
Not right now. Maybe a little bit later. We'll see. But we're done with your videos for these 3 songs, and now the album is out. So I don't know what we have planned is. We recorded a couple of songs actually in Swedish. Never done that before. One cover of Swedish sort of progressive band from the 70s, and we actually, for some reason, Magnus just wrote Swedish lyrics for one song. So we're plan to release that sort of as a record store day exclusive thing, because I'm quite sure not everyone will get that. It will be a little bit difficult to understand it if your Swedish is not your native language, but it's something you do just for fun. And so I will probably get that out. I think next record day is in autumn sometime, so we'll probably release that then.
Brilliant. Okay, and so if there was a song about yourself, what would it be called?
A song about sorry, I lost you a little bit there. A song about myself.
Yeah, what would it be called? Like a heavy metal song about you, what would it be called?
Would be called the I don't know, a heavy metal song about me. That was a difficult one. I haven't thought about it. The what would it be? The rocking. I don't know. I always have a big problem with one of my knees. I'm an old soccer player, and I sort of had surgery for 6 or 7 times on my knees, so it looked quite beaten. And he always, for some reason, the guy with the Ramones knee, because the old Ramones albums, they always had their knee sticking out of their sort of broken or their jeans. So that will probably the bass player with the Ramone knee.
Brilliant. Love it. That's cool. So then can you give me them 4 words to describe the Wheel of Illusion?
Wheel of Illusion, it's groovy, thick, heavy, varied, I think, as well. You have there's a little bit, Hawks and Hounds is a little bit more oriental, and you have as you said, Wild Mustang, the last song, you have almost like blues element. Reminds me of the end reminds me of Gary Moore, and when he was doing sort of more melodic guitar playing. And then you have, as you said, Wheel of Illusion is more or less sort of Black Sabbath. But this should be something for everyone there, I guess.
Brilliant. Okay, man. So now it's fast. Right, 5 fast questions. So the first one is vinyl or digital?
Vinyl, no
Meatballs
question about it.
meatballs or beer?
Beer,
Festival or small intimate gig?
I like festivals during summertime.
Brilliant. Are you guys saints or sinners?
Both.
And the final one is ABBA or helicopters?
Helicopters.
Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah,
Right,
yeah.
right, man. Again, I want to congratulate you on the album. Thank you for your time this evening. Do
Yeah.
you have any final words for your fans, our viewers, and listeners?
Yeah, hopefully, I mean, we get to the UK soon. I mean, I love playing in the UK, and I love UK in general. I've been there, I don't know, 25, 30 times. I just love going to whatever London and just hang out and drink beers and have a good time. So hopefully we will be back really soon and play. I hope more than London. We played Manchester and Wolverhampton and Nottingham before, and I love playing everywhere. It's a great country.